Chapter 24, The Darkest Hour. The plan was underway. It was still early, but Alfie was in his pajamas and ready for bed. He placed Raj's tooth under his pillow. Tonight, he didn't need any prompting from Dad that it was his bedtime. So he went to bedtime all by himself. He didn't need his dad to nag at him to go to bed. As soon as darkness fell, Alfie went straight to his room. No one knew what time this someone or something would strike and snatch the tooth. It just had to be dark, and it was dark already, real winter dark. There was now one big problem with Alfie's plan though. How on earth was he going to stay awake all night? Winnie had scoffed every last chocolate revel. There were plenty of other methods for staying awake, but none of them seemed foolproof. So for example, what are some methods to stay awake? Put matchsticks between your eyelids to keep them open. Drink gallons of water and then don't go for a pee before bed. So drink a lot of water and don't go to pee at all. Slap yourself hard in the face every minute. Leave the window wide open. It will become so cold you will shiver and icicles will grow from your nose. Icicles like this. Picture your least favorite teacher and then try and think of 10 things you like about them. It's impossible. Give yourself the mother of all Chinese burns. The pain will keep you awake. Get out of bed every 5 minutes and do a rhythmic gymnastics routine. Ball or ribbon will do. Lie in bed in an awfully uncomfortable position such as this. So all these methods to keep awake. Alfie climbed into bed and blew out the flame on the candle he was holding. As he lay there, he realized he didn't need any of those tricks to stop him from falling asleep. He had never felt so wide awake in his entire life. At first, the night seemed still and quiet, but soon every little sound, even the tiniest creak or rustle, filled his mind with fear. It could be them. It could be them. It could be them. Shadows began to dance on the walls. Were these nothing more than the silhouettes of trees illuminated by the headlights of passing cars? So, their shadows, silhouettes are like the outline shadows of trees. Or perhaps they were something more sinister, something more evil. Is it? It could be them. It could be them. It could be them. Alfie kept sliding his head under the pillow. Alfie kept sliding his hand under the pillow to check the tooth was still there. It was. Who or what was going to come into his room? And how would they try and snatch the tooth? Lying there in the dark, his imagination started to run wild. Soon it was hard for Alfie to distinguish between what was real and what was in his mind. Was he lying in bed awake? Or was he actually asleep and simply dreaming he was awake? Hours passed, or was it minutes? It was impossible to tell. Now outside Alfie's window, there wasn't a sound, not a bird singing, not a plane in the sky, not even a distant car. This truly was the darkest hour. He slid his hand under his pillow once more. The tooth was still exactly where he had left it. Just then, Alfie heard something rustling in the bushes outside. It could be a bird or a squirrel or even a rat. But no, the sound was too loud. This was something bigger. There was silence for a moment. Then as quick as lightning, a shadow, this is the shadow, loomed outside the window, blocking out the yellow glow of the streetlights entirely. It was horrifying, that means it was scary. Suddenly facing the terror alone seemed like a catastrophic, that means a terrible mistake. So he felt there was a mistake to face this somebody alone. He's scared that he might get killed or something. Alfie was frightened, dead frightened. Next, he heard the window slide open. Then the worn and bed ragged, that means his torn and messy and old curtains were drawn aside. So the curtains on his window, it started to draw aside. Okay, someone's coming in as the figure climbed into his room. Alfie wanted to cry out, but his mouth was dry with fear and he couldn't make a sound. Soon the shape was plodding slowly towards him. Alfie's plan was to pretend to be sleeping, let the tooth be stolen, and sneak a look at the perpetrator, that means the criminal, as they left. However, this plan was unraveling and fast. Alfie was in such a panic now, there was no way he could keep still. His whole body was trembling in terror. It was fight or flight. With the figure close in on him, there was nowhere to run. To fight was the only option. So now he cannot flight, he cannot run away, he had to fight, okay? Alfie leaped out of bed. He charged towards the figure, making wild circles in the air with his fist as he cried,